What's up, everybody? James Eng here. Excited to dive into today's topic. Welcome to Recession Proof Business Tips. And we're going through ways to recession proof you and your family, especially during this year. And we are in a fun conversation. I'm excited to talk about this. We've been talking about the 5 steps of what you need in a recession proof business. And we presented that MLM or multi-level marketing is a recession-proof business. And yesterday we opened up a can of worms with debate, the pros, cons, the good, bad, ugly. If you missed that, you're going to want to subscribe to this. Take a look at the previous one as well too. But today I want to talk about uncovering the myths in multi-level marketing and why do people hold such negative views of multi-level marketing. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, like this, share this, also subscribe to our YouTube for this, plus so many other cool conversations as well. But I hope you're going to enjoy this one. All right. My goal is not to press an agenda, first of all. I am in network marketing. I've been a professional for the past decade. I started part-time in 2009 during the last recession. Started this part-time, never thought I'd make any money in it. I loved the growth. I loved what I was learning. It was my side hustle while I was going through school at UC Berkeley. I thought I was going to totally be a doctor. And little do you know, I learned to fall in love with it. And by the time I graduated from UC Berkeley, my part-time business paid well enough. I didn't need a full-time job. In the past decade plus, been doing that, been staged around the world, trained thousands of people, and love what this profession can do for others. However, my purpose of today is to objectively talk about the negativity and the stigma that's behind multi-level marketing. Now, I'm curious if you've heard or you've had even a negative viewpoint of multi-level marketing. I know when I first got introduced, to be honest, I was the most skeptical one. I thought it was a pyramid scheme. I thought it was the biggest waste of time in the world. But the biggest thing is, honestly, I thought it was lower class. I thought it wasn't as cool as being a doctor or being a quote unquote professional. And to know that there was something that anybody could get involved with, and like it just didn't register in my mind. Like I thought it just wasn't cool. Network marketing or multi-level marketing isn't exactly on everyone's job list when you grow up. It's on the career day. However, fast forward now during this recession with social media, and when you see influencers like Grant Cardone or Ed Milet, you see influencers like John Maxwell or Les Brown, and you take a look at everybody in the personal growth industry, you'll notice that every single one of them, practically every single one of them, either they are involved in a network marketing business. Grant Cardone and Elena Cardone of 10X. They are in another network marketing company right now. You know, Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul. He is literally a distributor for a network marketing business. If you know John Maxwell, he speaks for many companies all the time. Like you just go on and on and on. Ed Milet, Power of One More, great book. Go grab it. Number one podcast when it comes to personal growth in the world. He is still involved in his network marketing business too. With technology and with social media, entrepreneurship and network marketing has been made a lot more apparent. It's been made a lot more sexy, but there still is held by some a negative viewpoint. And I want to discuss today why that is. And I believe this is not a business issue, but I believe that this is a people issue. And it's the same reason why there's racism. It's the same reason why there's fights. It's the same reason why there's wars in the world. It's the same reason why atrocious things happen in this world. And it comes down to this one word, which is lack of awareness. 3 words, I guess. This is lack of awareness, lack of understanding. We as people have a tendency to put stereotypes on things that we do not understand. If it's I remember the first time that I encountered, for example, religion and spirituality and faith. It was so weird for me. I remember I went to my first church service and people were singing songs and they were raising their hands and they were praying and I'm like, this is weird. I didn't grow up around the church. So I'm like, this is weird. This, like, what are they saying? And they're using all these sayings and words and things I just didn't understand. So because I didn't understand it, I cast a judgment on the church. And I'm like, that's where all the weird people go, right? And a closed mind costs fortunes. Now, I am a person of faith now. I learned this, I learned the truth and everything. And Jesus even said that if you know the truth, then the truth will set you free. And that's true not just in a faith situation, but also in anything in the world as well, too. And I believe that there's a big negative viewpoint on network marketing or multi-level marketing because there is an overwhelming lack of willingness to discover the truth. In fact, today it's kind of crazy because everybody can have an opinion. Everyone can have one. They say that opinions are like butts. Everyone's got them and none of them think that they stink. Right? And we have a lot of passionate people that can say very strong things with strong emotion. But just because someone's yelling or just because someone is emotional does not make that true. However, in a society right now where we're being slammed by all types of information overload and we are moved by a gripping emotion of things because we just have so little time to actually study and to look into things, to save our own sanity, we have to make judgments and we have to make decisions on different aspects in our lives so that we can close that gap, close that loop, and to be able to move forward. So when it comes to multi-level marketing, I believe the number one reason why there is a negative stigma is simply lack of awareness. Now, going back to the church story, for example, I got my first experience at church and it was weird, to be honest, because it was different. Typically, we as people, correct me if I'm wrong, we typically, whatever is, it's labeled weird if it's something you don't believe in. What is weird? Weird is not a objective term, right? You don't look at this pen and be like, this pen is just defined as weird. Something is typically only weird as a relative term. And that relativity is based on being relative to you. So if someone else, for example, in a church setting, if you are a Muslim and you see somebody practicing Buddhism, typically that's weird. If I was agnostic and I looked at a Christian church, I considered the Christian church weird. So in network marketing, if you're used to a job or you're used to a traditional business, and then you look at network marketing and it's a different business, we look at that weird. Isn't that the natural tendency when we don't understand something? We judge it, we label it weird, we might malign it, like we're just like, we don't understand it. Same thing happens in network marketing. Same thing happens in multi-level marketing. So for lack of awareness, and I say this because I was critic number one. When I first got introduced to network marketing, I did not know what to make about it. All I knew were negative hearsay from other people. And what happened was I remember I got my first exposure, my first presentation, and I cast a judgment. And not based off of any objective study that I did about the logic and the facts and actually looking into the details. But it was simply because I heard somebody say, oh, don't go do one of them things. And one of them things are a pyramid thing. And I'm like, okay, it must be a pyramid thing with no assessment. How many beliefs do we all have about ourselves, about other things that we've never even evaluated to be true or not true? The biggest thing that holds us back from success is actually limiting beliefs that have been fed to us by our family, our society, ourselves, that are lies. Satan works in the mind by strongholds, by slipping a little bit of lie. You just look at Genesis chapter 1, and what you see that Eve was just lied to by the devil just a little bit. The devil took God's truth and just twisted it, said, God didn't say to not eat of everything in the garden, did he? Little twist, little lie. So as being people that are responsible to ourselves, responsible for our own mindset, responsible for our own viewpoints on things, I'm not saying that network marketing is the one and only way to do anything. But what I am saying is whether it's looking at this topic of MLM or looking at faith or looking at any type of opportunity or decision you're going to have in the world, one of the biggest things that'll help you tremendously is to be the type of person that, regardless of the situation, that you remove emotion from the situation, you take a step back and you say, okay, well, other people might be saying something about this. And of course, always take recommendation and opinions in mind, right? Take it with a grain of salt. But be the type of person to do your own due diligence. Be the type of person to actually ask the question. Be the type of person to seek understanding. There's a powerful visual. Maybe you've seen this before, but it's like a comic. And what it is you've all heard the saying of they just run with the pack of the sheep. So it's this comic of there's a cliff that's really, really high, and there's a bunch of sheep, and they don't know exactly that there's a cliff right there, but they are literally running towards the cliff. And there's sheep in the middle of it, and they're like, I don't know what's going on, but everyone's moving that direction, so I should go in that direction. And what they don't know is that's leading them to their death. How many things do we accept to be true just because the group is moving in that direction? That's why slavery happened, because there was a minor group of people that was able to influence culture, and then they said slavery is totally fine, and obviously it's not. That's why in the COVID situation, now I'm not saying if it was a real thing, a false thing, I'm not talking anything about vaccine or not vaccine, but it was very interesting to see the reaction by most people, which was acting out of fear based on what the media is telling us, based on what others are telling us, but not actually doing our own homework to make our own informed, educated decisions. Because many times we would rather fit in with the crowd than actually be someone that stands on truth and moves in a direction. I wonder if this connects with everyone. I wonder if this aligns with anyone at all. Because what I'm talking about today is the myths of MLM and why people hold negative views on multi-level marketing. But I'm really talking about a deeper issue that we're facing in society right now, which is that we have been programmed in a way to shut off our own self-thinking. And we've been programmed in a way to just absorb other people's opinions about things. And that is leading us to a less intelligent, critical thinking society. That is leading us to a society that is very easily influenced by the media, by politics, by anything that anyone says. It is leading to many issues in business, in marriage, in relationships, in parenting, in love, in faith. We need to, as a society, be willing to use this God-given mind again and actually do our own due diligence on facts versus opinions and come up with your own objective viewpoints and come up with your own standpoints on certain different things. So I brought this up because when I first got introduced to network marketing, I was in the crowd when I disagreed with what everyone else said. But if someone were really to ask me, well, James, what is network marketing? What is multi-level marketing? Why are you so against it? I wouldn't be able to answer much. I'd be like, well, it's one of those things. You know, the people on top make all the money and the rich get richer and blah, blah, blah. And if you just ask me a couple more questions, well, is that really true? Are you sure about that? What makes you think that way? Can you explain how multi-level marketing works? I'd be like, no. So I got to this point when I said, you know, before casting a judgment on something, let me actually look at the real questions. Let me actually see if what people are saying is true or not true. That could be about faith. That could be about relationships. That could be about any situation. That could be about multi-level marketing. So I asked the questions. I said, are the criticisms true or not true? Why are they happening? What is network marketing? What is multi-level marketing? And I started to ask those questions. You see, every single time you ask a question, you'll find the answer. But you have to be the one to ask the question first. Don't take anyone else's word for it. Don't take my word for it. You have your own self-thinking capability. But if you don't ask the question, you won't take ownership on that. If you don't ask the question, then you're not going to be able to get the truth. So you can either choose to live in absolute unawareness. They say that ignorance is bliss. Well, that is completely true, because that's going to leave us in an unaware situation that will lead us into bad decisions. Thinking is one of the most important things that most people do not do. So I started to challenge myself to think, and I investigated. I did the research. I looked at the pros. I looked at the cons. I started to understand, what is multi-level marketing? What is network marketing? I started to look up. There's a great video that Tim Sales, who is a very successful person, now a mentor actually in network marketing, they call Brilliant Compensation. It just breaks down what is the business model, what it is, how it works, what's a pyramid, what's not a pyramid, all these different. I asked all the questions. And my goal was to ask enough questions until I had an understanding enough to either say yes or no. Not just to say yes or no based off blind faith, but to say yes or no because I made an informed decision. And when I asked all the tough questions, is it unethical? Is it immoral, for example? I asked, isn't it unfair? I asked, man, do people actually succeed? Some people say, well, you got to be lucky. You got to get in at the top to do well. Are these things actually true? Great to see you. And when I actually looked at the answers and I found the truth, I found out, for example, MLM is not unethical or immoral itself. It's just a machine. It's just a tool. People are immoral or unethical. They could be immoral and unethical, whether it's within multi-level marketing or it's within a car business or it's within an online business. It doesn't matter. It's about people. Businesses are not either. They don't have a morality. So I'm like, okay. Scammers will scam you regardless of whatever that they're going to do. And they exist in every single hemisphere. Isn't network marketing unfair? I asked. Don't the people on top make all the money? And I actually realized I just didn't understand the compensation plan. You see, in a job, the CEO will always make more money than the employee. The manager will always make more money than an employee. Unless they're a sales position, they have commission, stuff like that. But typically, that's how a corporate structure works. In multi-level marketing, it's the fairest compensation plan in the world. Why? Everyone starts at their own top. Everyone can build their own organization. Everyone can build their own business. And if you're the person that produces the most productive organization, you can make the most money. So I'm like, wow, okay, it's actually fair. That's great. My other question was, well, aren't your odds of succeeding so low? I've heard people say, well, only like 1% of people make all the money. I'm like, well, that is true statistically, but why is that statistic true? You see, we have to ask the questions. Is it a stats thing like blackjack? You see, blackjack, we know that house will always win. I like blackjack. If I play something, I play blackjack just because you don't have to think much, right? But blackjack, you know you're going to lose. If you play 1,000 hands, you will lose statistically. That's just odds. That's literally odds. You flip a coin, it should be 50% of the time it's heads, 50% of the time it's tails. That's just straight odds. Business is not about odds. Business is about principles applied. It's like saying, if you go to the gym, do only some people get buff? Does the gym only work for some people, or does it work for everybody? It works for everybody that knows what to do and does it long enough properly. Business, period, works for everybody if they know what to do and they do it long enough properly. MLM, multi-level marketing, works for everybody that knows what to do and does it over the course of time. They do it long enough. So it's not that you have luck. It's not that some people can or can't do well in multi-level marketing. In fact, I believe it's the most fair entrepreneurial plan in the world, because you could be from Yale or jail. You could have a GED or a PhD. You can have an opportunity legitimately to actually build a financial fortress for you and your family. Doesn't matter your background, but you do have to learn and you do have to apply, just like in anything in life. You see, the biggest reason why there are negative viewpoints on multi-level marketing is simply just because people are not aware. And the reason why people are not aware is that people don't ask the actual questions to get aware. Most of us would rather live in blissful unawareness. We'd rather have our mind go towards who's playing in the Super Bowl, right, Kiki? We'd rather think about the next cool restaurant coming out. We'd rather think about things that are not productive for society necessarily. I'm not saying those are bad things, but I'm saying they're not the most important things. But most of us have been conditioned by the world to not think about the things. Most of us are conditioned to actually be distracted, but we're actually not thinking about the things that matter in our lives. Faith, family, finances. How about relationships? Like the things that actually matter the most. And we have to train ourselves to rethink again and to ask questions that are true or not true. So why is multi-level marketing a bad stigma? People don't ask questions. You see, if you ask questions, and this is what I've realized too, I know many people that are successful that while they might not be involved in multi-level marketing, for those that understand, they don't diss or disrespect multi-level marketing. Just like for me, I don't do real estate, but I'm not going to diss on real estate because I understand it enough where I respect it. It's a legitimate form of business. It's a need that's out there in the world. Just like if someone's a teacher, if someone is some other profession that might not be mine, just because they're different doesn't mean it's wrong. Just because someone doesn't think the way that you think doesn't mean that you're right. You see, perspective is both of us can be right in our own ways. God made us all in very unique, fascinating ways. We have different gifts and talents and interests and everything. Not everyone was born to be in network marketing or a high-level producer in network marketing, but not everyone wasn't either as well too. So ask the questions because that'll mitigate risk. Ask the questions so you can seek understanding. Ask the questions so you can seek awareness. And when it comes to the topic of multi-level marketing, I asked and I asked and I asked and I asked and I asked every single question to the point that at the end of when I got them all answered, it would have been silly for me to not say yes to the opportunity because it just made so much sense. But if I didn't seek to understand, then I would have stayed in blissful unawareness and I would have missed out on so many things in my life. I'm asking experts. You got to ask the people that know what they're talking about. Ask people that have been involved in what you're doing. Ask people that have a legitimate opinion. Ask people that have had experiences that you would want to glean from. You do have to be careful. Ask for the industry. Go to the top. Go to whoever it is that you know would have the right answers for what it is that you're seeking. And when you seek it, you will find. So whether that's in multi-level marketing, or whether that's in faith, whether that's in marriage, whether that's in whatever topic in the world, my encouragement to you is if you want to stay recession proof, then you want to ask questions until you understand whatever it is that you're going through, until you understand it enough to make an informed decision. If we all aspired to do that, not only would multi-level marketing not have a bad stigma, but racism would be eliminated, judgment would be eliminated, a lot of issues and wars and all that would be eliminated. I think marriages would stay, it wouldn't be a 50% divorce rate. It'd be a lot better than that. I believe the world would be so much better if we just sought awareness to everyone else. And I appreciate Michael. I see your comment there. All right, everybody. So I hope that encouraged you. Hope this was interesting. If it was, like this, share this. Also subscribe to my YouTube. We put this plus all of our other amazing content there as well too. It will bless you. It will help you. My commitment with this series is to help you to become recession proof. We're going through a series on multi-level marketing, the good, the bad, the ugly, the debates and everything. And the next one, I'm going to start going through some of the pros of this business as well too. So, and also shout out, if you are looking for a recession proof business, if you're looking for extra streams of income, I love to chat. If you're open-minded, I'd love to share some information with you. Click on the link below. And there's a work with me form, or you can message me. And I'd love to share a video with you, quick 8-minute video to talk about opportunities that may be able to change your life. I know it changed mine and many of my friends as well too. If that encourages that into you, reach out. I'd love to chat with you about that. Other than that, God bless and talk soon.